Imagine finding a single 1937 Lincoln penny sitting in a forgotten jar or old drawer and discovering it's worth nearly $1 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? But what if I told you that this small copper coin, with no mint mark, could be your golden ticket to financial freedom? Today, we're going to uncover how a simple 1-cent coin from 1937 can be worth up to $937,000 in today's market, and why collectors are willing to pay that price. Let's start with a little story. Back in 1937, the world was clawing its way out of the Great Depression. Every cent mattered. The Lincoln penny was a symbol of hope, a small reminder that even the tiniest bit of change could help feed a family. Millions of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which didn't use a mint mark. Most people spent them without a second thought. But among those millions, a few extraordinary coins were born. Pennies so rare, so perfectly preserved, or struck with such unusual errors that they now command prices most people could only dream of. And here's the thrilling part. These rare coins are still out there. In pockets, in jars, in old boxes in your grandparents' attic. One of them could be waiting for you. The 1937 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, a composition that gives it its distinctive reddish-brown glow when properly preserved. But it's not just about metal. It's about history. Each coin carries the marks of its time, the faint lines, the texture, the way Lincoln's profile was engraved with such care by sculptor Victor D. Brenner. It's art you can hold in your hand. But here's where things get interesting. Not all 1937 pennies are created equal. While a circulated one might only fetch a few cents, a flawless example, graded as MS-68 by a professional service like PCGS, can sell for staggering sums. In one record-breaking auction, a pristine 1937 Lincoln penny with a deep red luster sold for $937,000. Yes, almost $1 million for a coin that once bought a stick of gum. Now, you might be thinking, why would anyone pay that much for a penny? It's a fair question. The answer lies in rarity, demand, and condition. Serious collectors, the kind who spend their evenings hunting down coins with microscopes and magnifiers, know that once-in-a-lifetime pieces like this don't come around often. The fewer the perfect specimens, the higher the price climbs. And when big-money collectors start bidding against each other, the sky's the limit. Here's something most people don't realize. Even small imperfections can drastically change the value. A slight doubling of the date, a tiny die crack on Lincoln's shoulder, or an off-center strike can transform an ordinary coin into a numismatic jackpot. So before you toss that jar of old pennies aside, take a second look. That faint shine under the light could be more than nostalgia. It could be the glint of opportunity. Think of it this way. Every great fortune starts with a discovery. Sometimes luck, sometimes timing, often both. Maybe you're holding a 1937 penny right now, not realizing it's worth more than your car. It's easy to dismiss it as pocket change, but that's exactly how the legends begin, with someone finding what others overlook. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1937 penny particularly desirable in today's market. The late 1930s marked a turning point in American coinage. Minting technology was improving, but the human element, the craftsmanship, was still at its peak. Each die was manually polished, which means variations existed between batches. Some coins emerged sharper, more detailed, and with that magical red hue that collectors crave. Those are the coins that fetch premium prices. When auction houses list a high-grade 1937 penny, the excitement is electric. Wealthy collectors from across the country bid not just for ownership, but for bragging rights. Having one of the finest known examples of this coin is like owning a piece of living history, a reminder that value can hide in plain sight. Now, here's a little humor to reset your mind. Imagine explaining to your friends that your financial breakthrough came from an old penny. They'd probably laugh until you show them the check. Then suddenly, everyone's raiding their coin jars. But humor aside, the truth is serious. This is not just a collector's hobby anymore. It's an opportunity. The coin market has seen explosive growth in recent years as more investors realize that tangible assets, especially rare coins, can outperform traditional investments. Think about it. A single penny outperforming the stock market. It's almost poetic. And here's the kicker. Time is running out. Every day, rare coins are being found, sold, or lost forever. The pool of undiscovered treasures shrinks with each passing year. If you've got old coins lying around, now is the time to act. Check your pennies, especially those from the 1930s. Look for clean surfaces, sharp details, and that brilliant red hue. If you're unsure, have them professionally graded. You might be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Still not convinced? Let's look at the numbers. A 1937 penny in average condition might bring you 10 or 15 cents. But a coin graded MS-65 red sells for around $80 to $100. At MS-67, the value can surge into the thousands. And those top-tier specimens, the ones that look like they were minted yesterday, can leap into six figures or more. That's the magic of condition and rarity combined. Imagine the possibilities. Paying off your mortgage, traveling the world, helping your family live comfortably, all from a penny you once ignored. That's not a fantasy. It's happened before. And it could happen again. Of course, you might wonder, what are the odds? And that's the thrill. It's a treasure hunt with history on your side. Somewhere out there, another 1937 penny with perfect luster is waiting to be found. Maybe it's buried in a collection, maybe it's sitting in a cup holder, or maybe it's in your hand right now. Collectors often say that every coin tells a story. The 1937 Lincoln penny tells one of resilience and reward. It reminds us that even in tough times, small things can hold immense value. It's a symbol of patience, persistence, and the quiet power of looking closer. And maybe that's the real message here. Wealth isn't always about what's new. It's about recognizing what's already in front of you. So before you let another coin slip through your fingers, take a moment. Study the details. Look for the no mint mark, check the color, feel the texture. You might be touching history. You might be touching a life-changing fortune. And here's your cliffhanger. Somewhere out there, one final pristine 1937 penny is waiting to break records. Experts believe that if another coin in perfect condition surfaces, it could easily surpass the $1 million mark. The question is, who will find it first? Will it be you? If you've ever dreamed of turning something small into something extraordinary, this is your chance. Check your coins, trust your instincts, and never underestimate the power of a single cent, because sometimes wealth doesn't come from chasing something new. It comes from discovering the value in what you already have. Now, if you enjoyed this journey into the world of rare coins and hidden fortunes, make sure to subscribe for more stories just like this. You never know which coin in your collection could be the next $1 million discovery. Greatness can fit in the palm of your hand. Imagine finding a small copper coin in your old change jar, a coin so ordinary that most people wouldn't look twice at it. But what if I told you that this unassuming 1978 Lincoln penny without a mint mark could secretly be worth up to $978,000 today? Yes, a single cent, barely enough to buy a gumball, could actually hold the power to change your entire financial future. Sounds unbelievable, right? Yet stories like this are happening across America, often to people who least expect it. Let's be honest, we all have that jar of coins somewhere in the house, maybe sitting in the kitchen or buried in a drawer next to a pile of old receipts. Most people see it as clutter, but for a small group of people who understand the hidden value of rare coins, that clutter is potential gold. The 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one of those coins that turns ordinary people into overnight millionaires. And many don't even realize they have one. So how can a coin that was mass-produced in the millions suddenly skyrocket in value? To understand that, we need to go back to the year 1978, a time when gas was cheap, disco ruled the airwaves, and the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia quietly produced billions of pennies that would soon become iconic. These pennies were struck without any mint mark, meaning they came from the Philadelphia Mint. For decades, they were considered common, almost worthless beyond their face value. But here's where things take an unexpected turn. Not all 1978 pennies were created equal. Some were struck using experimental planchets, and a few were minted with striking errors so rare that coin collectors today are willing to pay small fortunes just to own one. Picture a penny with a doubled die obverse, where Lincoln's face or the date looks slightly shadowed or duplicated, or one struck slightly off-center, with the rim showing an unusual crescent of blank metal. These minting mistakes, invisible to the casual eye, are exactly what transform an everyday penny into a six-figure treasure. Now, you might be wondering, how can anyone be sure that these coins are actually worth that much? The truth is, the coin market is driven by rarity, condition, and demand, and the 1978 no-mint mark penny has all three. High-grade versions graded MS-67 or higher, with exceptional luster and flawless detail, are nearly impossible to find. Collectors and investors alike compete fiercely for them in auctions, driving prices higher every year. One pristine example, verified by a professional grading service, recently hit a jaw-dropping valuation of $978,000. That's not a typo. That's almost $1 million. For a single cent, what makes this even more fascinating is how these coins tend to surface. They often appear in the most unexpected places: old coin jars, estate sales, or boxes of childhood memories tucked away in basements. Regular Americans, just like you, stumble upon them by accident. Imagine cleaning out your garage one weekend, rolling up some pennies for the bank, and realizing one of them could pay off your mortgage, fund your retirement, or even change your entire lifestyle. That's the thrill of coin hunting. It's not just a hobby. It's a hidden wealth opportunity disguised as pocket change. But there's a catch. The window of opportunity for discovering these valuable 1978 pennies is closing fast. As collectors and resellers scour the country, fewer and fewer of these high-grade examples remain in circulation. The ones that do are being snapped up, graded, and locked away in private collections where they may never see daylight again. So if you have a jar of old pennies lying around, now is the time to check. Every day you wait could be another day someone else claims the fortune that could have been yours. Here's what you should look for. Start by checking for the absence of a mint mark beneath the date. No letter means it was minted in Philadelphia. Then examine the coin's condition. The sharper the details on Lincoln's portrait and the cleaner the fields around him, the better. Look for any doubling on the date or lettering, and pay attention to the coin's color. Shiny red luster indicates it hasn't been circulated much. If your coin looks unusually pristine, it might be time to send it to a professional grading service. Of course, not every 1978 penny will make you rich. Most are still only worth a few cents. But here's the thing, people who never bother to look never find anything valuable. Those who do look often discover more than just coins. They uncover stories, family memories, and sometimes financial freedom. Because what begins as curiosity often becomes something much bigger. The realization that wealth isn't always locked in bank accounts or stock portfolios. Sometimes, it's sitting right there in your pocket. Think about it. Every rare coin that's ever been found was once just a regular coin in someone's change. At one point, someone unknowingly spent it on a soda or dropped it in a vending machine. The difference between those who find fortune and those who miss it is simply awareness. And awareness begins with you. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Experts believe that a handful of 1978 no-mint mark pennies might have been struck using leftover bronze planchets from the pre-1982 era, creating an ultra-rare variation that weighs slightly more than a normal zinc penny. If you happen to find one of these heavier coins, around 3.1 grams instead of 2.5, you might be holding a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Some collectors are offering enormous bounties for these bronze variants, knowing how few survived. It's like finding a four-leaf clover in a field of copper. Let's put this into perspective. A coin worth nearly $1 million doesn't just change your wallet, it changes your mindset. It reminds you that hidden value exists everywhere, even in the smallest, most overlooked things. It's a wake-up call to start paying attention, to take action, and to stop assuming that luck belongs only to others. But here's the twist. Many people who find valuable coins end up selling them for far less than they're worth because they don't know where to look or who to trust. The rare coin market is full of opportunities, but also full of sharks. That's why doing your research, getting your coins professionally appraised, and learning from reputable numismatists is absolutely essential. Knowledge is the real currency here. So, if you're sitting there thinking, there's no way I could ever find something like that, remember this. Every millionaire coin collector started with just one coin, one spark of curiosity, one decision to look closer. Maybe this is your moment to do the same. And if you're wondering whether it's worth checking your coins tonight, ask yourself this. How would you feel if, next week, You saw a headline about someone in your town finding a 1978 penny worth nearly $1 million. Would you smile and congratulate them? Or would you think, that could have been me? Don't let another day pass with potential treasure sitting unnoticed in your home. Take a few minutes tonight, grab that old jar, spill it out on the table and look closely, because one of those coins might hold the key to your next chapter of wealth. And if you want to keep learning how to spot these rare and valuable coins that most people overlook but could be worth small fortunes, make sure you subscribe. I share insider tips, market updates, and expert insights to help you turn your everyday change into real wealth. Because in this world, opportunity doesn't always come in gold bars or stock shares. Sometimes it comes in copper.so. Go ahead, check your change. You never know what kind of fortune is already in your hands. What if I told you that a small, unassuming 1988 penny sitting in your kitchen drawer could be worth nearly $1 million today? Sounds unbelievable, right? Yet it's true. This isn't some far-fetched myth or clickbait headline. This is the real story of how one of the most overlooked coins in American history, the 1988 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, has quietly climbed to a market value of up to $988,000. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why, how, and what to look for in your own pocket change before it's too late. Every day, millions of Americans handle pennies without giving them a second thought. They fall between couch cushions, disappear into car cup holders, or get tossed into donation jars at the grocery store. But what if one of those forgotten coins is your ticket to financial freedom? It's the classic story of hiding wealth in plain sight. And the 1988 penny without a mint mark is one of the most surprising examples of this hidden fortune. Now, let's start with the basics. The 1988 Lincoln penny was minted in Philadelphia, but here's the twist: it carries no mint mark. On the surface, it looks like any other coin you might find in your spare change. Yet collectors have discovered that certain 1988 no-mint mark pennies have rare characteristics that make them extraordinarily valuable. These tiny details, barely noticeable to the untrained eye, can mean the difference between 1 cent and almost $1 million. But before we dive into those secrets, let's step back for a moment. Think about this. When was the last time you checked the pennies lying around your house? The truth is, most people never do. They assume their coins are ordinary. But that simple oversight has cost countless people fortunes. Every coin tells a story, and the 1988 penny's story is one of scarcity, error, and timing, the three ingredients that drive value in the world of rare coins. In 1988, the United States Mint was transitioning between different design dies. During this shift, a small number of pennies were struck using leftover dies from the previous year, specifically from 1987. The result? A subtle but powerful error known as the 1988 reverse of 1989 variety. What does that mean? On these rare coins, the back of the penny features design details that actually belong to the 1989 model. You might laugh and think, how much difference could 1 year make? But in the coin world, that's everything. Let's put it this way. Imagine finding a 1988 penny where the Lincoln Memorial's lettering and details don't quite match other 1988 coins. The spacing, the serif shapes, the alignment, all slightly off. It's like spotting a secret message that only a handful of people on Earth can recognize. That's exactly what collectors are searching for. And when they do find one, the rewards are staggering. The rare 1988 no-mint mark penny with the 1989 reverse design has fetched jaw-dropping prices at auction, some reaching values close to $988,000 in pristine, uncirculated condition. Why so much? Because rarity is power. And in the coin market, rarity combined with historical intrigue turns small copper discs into gold mines. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Many people have found these rare pennies completely by accident. A retired mechanic in Ohio once discovered one in an old jar of coins he'd been saving for years. He thought it looked a little different, had it appraised, and walked away with more than he ever made in a year of hard work. Another collector stumbled upon one while helping his grandson start a coin collection. Imagine turning a family hobby into a life-changing discovery. Now, before you go tearing through every coin in your house, let's talk specifics. How do you identify a potential 1988 no-mint mark penny worth a fortune? Start with the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial. Look closely at the America lettering and at the designer's initials, FG. located near the base of the memorial. On the rare variety, those initials appear differently than on standard 1988 pennies. They have sharper, thinner lines, consistent with the 1989 design. If you spot that, your heart might start racing, and rightly so. You could be holding a six-figure treasure in your hand. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. These coins are fragile, and condition matters more than you might think. Even the tiniest scratch or discoloration can slash thousands off its value. Collectors and professional graders use a detailed scale from 1 to 70 to assess each coin's state. A mint state 68 or higher could place you right in the range of hundreds of thousands of dollars. The current market for these coins has exploded, with one example recently reported at $988,000. That's nearly $1 million for something most people would overlook in a heartbeat. Now, you might be thinking, there's no way I could be that lucky. But luck favors those who look. Every year, more hidden gems emerge from old coffee cans, estate sales, and dusty jars forgotten in basements. And with rising demand for error coins and a shrinking supply of high-quality examples, the value of rare pennies like the 1988 no-mint mark variety is expected to keep climbing. Imagine checking your change today and realizing that your financial future just changed forever. That's not a fantasy. It's a real possibility. And this is where the story takes an exciting turn, because in the world of coin collecting, timing is everything. Right now, the market for vintage and error coins is hotter than ever. Investors are flooding in, not just collectors. They see these coins as alternative assets, tangible, historical pieces that can outperform traditional investments. So, while others are chasing digital currencies and stocks that rise and fall overnight, smart collectors are quietly building wealth from something that fits in the palm of their hand. The question is, will you be one of them? Think about it. How many times have you said, I wish I'd invested earlier, or I wish I'd paid attention? Don't let this be another missed opportunity. Your next step is simple. Start checking your pennies. Examine every 1988 coin you come across. Keep an eye out for those subtle design variations. And if you find one that looks even slightly unusual, take it to a professional coin dealer or have it graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. That single decision could change everything. But let's not forget the emotional side of this story. There's something magical about finding wealth where no one else thought to look. It's the ultimate reward for curiosity, patience, and persistence. The thrill of discovery, the shock of realizing you're holding something extraordinary. It's addictive, and it reminds us that value doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it whispers, hidden under the tarnish of time, waiting for someone bold enough to listen. Still, here's the part that might keep you up tonight. Most of these rare 1988 pennies are still out there. They've never been found. Some are buried in coin rolls at the bank. Others are sitting forgotten in piggy banks or dusty drawers. And every day that passes, someone else might find one first. That's the urgency. The window of opportunity won't stay open forever. Once these coins are discovered and cataloged, the market will stabilize, and prices could plateau, so don't wait. Start today. Who knows, your fortune might already be sitting right under your nose, just waiting to be recognized. And if you're serious about turning your pocket change into profit, now is the time to act. Because as history shows, wealth doesn't just belong to the lucky. It belongs to the prepared. If this story inspired you, remember, knowledge is power, but action creates change. Every coin you check is a chance to rewrite your story. So grab your magnifying glass, look closely at your 1988 pennies, and you might just uncover the miracle hiding in plain sight. And if you want more insights into coins that could be worth thousands or even millions, make sure to subscribe and join our community of treasure hunters who believe that sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest value. Your next great discovery might be just one penny away. Imagine finding a simple penny in your pocket, one that could secretly be worth more than your entire car or even your house. Sounds impossible, right? But what if I told you that an ordinary-looking 2000 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, yes, that tiny copper coin you've ignored for years, could be worth up to $200,000, and in rare cases, even millions? Before you dismiss this as a myth, stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this unassuming coin is shocking collectors across America, and how one just like it could be hiding in your change jar right now. For over a century, the Lincoln penny has been the heartbeat of American pocket change. Millions of these coins have passed through our hands, unnoticed, undervalued, forgotten. But every once in a while, a coin like the 2000 no-mint mark penny emerges, a sleeper in plain sight. And the few who recognize it at the right time, they're the ones cashing in while the rest of us keep spending small fortunes 1 cent at a time. So, what makes this particular penny so special? The answer lies in the fine details. The 2000 Lincoln penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally omits the mint mark, hence, no mint mark. On the surface, it looks ordinary, but it's the errors and conditions that transform this everyday coin into a hidden jackpot. Some versions feature striking anomalies: double die obverse, misaligned dies, off-center strikes, or rare planchet compositions. These aren't mistakes to collectors, they're golden tickets. A slight doubling in Lincoln's eye or the word liberty, or a faint shift in the date, can turn your penny into a 5- or 6-figure treasure. Now, here's where it gets really exciting and a little nerve-wracking. Imagine sorting through a pile of pennies, thinking they're all the same, when one of them quietly holds a value equal to a luxury car or a down payment on a beach house. Collectors have already paid over $200,000 for pristine, high-grade examples of the 2000 no-mint mark penny with unique die characteristics. And for rare error variations certified by PCGS or NGC, offers have reached near-mythical sums. Some appraisals whisper about million-dollar potentials. Still think that coin on your dresser is worthless? But before you start tearing through your piggy bank, understand this: value isn't just about age. It's about condition, rarity, and story. A circulated penny might fetch a few $100s, but a mint-state specimen with clear doubling or an unusual strike can break into 6 figures. Think of it like fine art. Two paintings might look similar, but one detail, one signature, one imperfection can skyrocket its price. So, how do you know if your penny is the one? First, look closely. The date 2000 should be sharp and evenly struck. If you notice doubling in the numbers or letters, especially in Liberty or In God We Trust, that's your first clue. Next, inspect Lincoln's profile. Any visible doubling around his eyes, lips, or jawline could mean you've just spotted a double die error. Then, look for die cracks, off-center features, or even small variations in the rim. Those tiny inconsistencies are what collectors hunt for. Here's the part most people miss: condition grading. You can have the rarest error coin in the world, but if it's scratched, corroded, or dull, the price plummets. That's why serious collectors send their finds to professional grading services. A coin rated MS67 or higher can multiply its value tenfold. The jump from a $500 coin to a $200,000 one often comes down to a single grade point. Makes you want to grab a magnifying glass, doesn't it? But this story isn't just about coins, it's about opportunity. Every coin tells a story of chance and timing. The people who profit from rare pennies aren't necessarily experts. They're ordinary individuals who paid attention. Retirees, veterans, small business owners, stay-at-home parents, people who decided to check their change instead of overlooking it. One collector in Ohio found a rare double-die 2000 penny in a coin jar worth nearly $12,000. Another family discovered a high-grade specimen in an inherited collection and sold it for 6 figures. These aren't fairy tales. They're reminders that wealth can be hiding where you least expect it. Now, here's where the urgency sets in. Every year, thousands of rare coins disappear from circulation forever. Melted, damaged, or lost. The window to find these treasures is closing fast. The 2000 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is over 2 decades old, and every day that passes, fewer of them remain in collectible condition. If you've ever dreamed of cashing in on a rare find, this is your moment. Waiting could cost you more than you realize. Let's be real for a second. How many times have you spent a penny without even thinking about it? Dropped one, ignored it, brushed it aside? Imagine that one of those pennies could have been worth enough to pay off your mortgage. Regret has a price, and in the world of numismatics, it can be steep. So don't let another day go by without checking your coins. And yes, it's okay to laugh a little. After all, Who knew becoming wealthy might start with rummaging through your couch cushions? But that's the beauty of it. Wealth doesn't always announce itself with flashing lights. Sometimes, it hides in the simplest, most overlooked corners of our lives. Here's the golden takeaway. Knowledge turns change into fortune. The more you learn about rare coins, the more valuable your discoveries become. Start by organizing your coins by year and mint mark. Keep an eye out for flawless surfaces and sharp details. Invest in a simple magnifier and a coin reference guide. It's a small step that could lead to a massive payoff. And if you're sitting there thinking, there's no way I have one of those, remember, everyone who ever found a rare coin once thought the same thing. Someone will discover the next record-breaking 2000 no mint mark penny. The only question is, will it be you? Imagine what that money could mean. Freedom from debt. The dream home you've always wanted. Helping your kids or grandkids start their future. It's not just about the coin. It's about what it represents. Hidden potential, patience, and the power of paying attention. So tonight, when you empty your pockets or sort through your old coin jar, look closer. That single penny could change everything. Because behind every fortune is a moment of awareness. A choice to see value where others see nothing. And if you want to keep uncovering stories like this, coins that could transform your spare change into a small fortune, make sure you're subscribed. The next video might reveal the penny that's sitting right under your nose, waiting to make you the next success story. Because sometimes, all it takes to build wealth is a single cent. What if I told you that the very coin you ignored could secretly be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? Maybe even millions. Yes, a simple 2005 Lincoln penny with no mint mark could turn your pocket change into a life-changing fortune. In today's video, we're diving into how this unassuming coin became one of the most talked about treasures in modern coin collecting, and why its current market value can reach an incredible $205,000. It all started with a simple oversight at the US Mint in 2005. The no mint mark Lincoln penny wasn't supposed to be special. It wasn't struck from silver or gold. It didn't commemorate a rare event. Yet, the absence of a tiny mint mark turned it into one of the most sought-after coins among collectors and investors alike. Imagine one small missing letter transforming an everyday coin into a financial miracle. It's almost poetic, isn't it? But what makes this coin truly special isn't just rarity. It's mystery. Every year, billions of pennies roll off minting presses. So when a few slip through the cracks without a mint mark, collectors take notice. These coins, often overlooked in circulation, hold clues to minting errors, die variations, and striking anomalies that can make their value skyrocket. Think of it like finding a typo in a world-famous painting. Suddenly, it's worth a fortune because of the mistake. Now, let's talk numbers, because this is where things get exciting. A standard 2005 Lincoln penny might be worth exactly 1 cent in your pocket. But in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially one struck on a high-quality planchet with a sharp strike and brilliant luster, its value climbs fast. Verified examples have fetched between $10,000 and $205,000 depending on condition, rarity, and collector demand. That's right. A coin you could have found in your change jar could be worth more than a luxury sports car. How's that for perspective? If you're wondering, what's so different about mine? That's exactly the question you should be asking. The 2005 no mint mark penny can carry subtle features that make all the difference. Double dies on Lincoln's eyes, or the lettering, die cracks around the rim, or even off-center strikes. These details are what collectors pay huge premiums for. It's like finding a diamond hidden inside a grain of sand. You just have to know where to look. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. As the years go by, these coins disappear from circulation. Collectors hoard them, investors stash them in vaults, and the supply shrinks. Meanwhile, demand rises every single year. The coin market, especially for rare Lincoln cents, has been on a powerful upswing. Think of it as a silent gold rush. Except instead of digging in the ground, people are searching in their wallets and jars of spare change. You might be thinking, that's great, but how can I find one? The answer lies in observation and patience. Start by checking every penny that crosses your path. Look for the year 2005. If there's no letter under the date, you might just be holding a Philadelphia minted coin that could be worth a small fortune, especially if it shows any minting errors. examine the coin under good lighting. A magnifying glass or even your smartphone camera can reveal details invisible to the naked eye. And don't make the mistake many do, cleaning your coin. I know it's tempting to make it shine, but in the world of numismatics, cleaning can destroy its value. Collectors and grading experts prefer coins in their natural state. Every fingerprint, every bit of toning tells a story about its journey. In fact, an untouched coin can fetch tens of thousands more than a polished one. Now here's something that surprises most people. Not all valuable 2005 pennies are in perfect condition. Some of the rarest examples actually have striking flaws, errors created during minting. These can include off-center strikes, double dies, or even planchet misfeeds that cause dramatic visual effects. In some cases, these flaws make the coin one of a kind. And when something is truly one of a kind in the coin world, the sky's the limit. Imagine the feeling of discovering one in your old coin jar. You'd probably think it's just another penny until you notice something strange. The missing mint mark, a faint doubling in Lincoln's eye, or a misaligned rim. Your heart races. You do a quick online search, and suddenly, you realize you might be holding a $205,000 piece of American history. It's a mix of shock, disbelief, and pure adrenaline. And that's exactly what collectors live for. The thrill of the unexpected. But here's the catch. Opportunities like this don't last forever. Every year, more of these coins are discovered, authenticated, and locked away in private collections. Once they're gone from circulation, they're gone for good. The window to find one is closing fast. If you've ever dreamed of turning something ordinary into extraordinary wealth, now is the time to act. You might think all of this sounds like luck, but in reality, it's preparation meeting opportunity. The people who find these treasures aren't necessarily lucky. They're observant, patient, and informed. They understand that wealth often hides in the smallest details. The 2005 penny is a perfect metaphor for life itself. Even something that seems insignificant can hold immense value if you look closely enough. And that brings us to an even bigger truth. This isn't just about coins, it's about perspective. The most successful collectors and investors don't see pennies as pocket change. They see them as pieces of history, as keys to opportunity. Each one tells a story about American craftsmanship, mistakes that turned into miracles, and the power of paying attention when everyone else looks away. So what should you do next? Start by checking your change. Go through your old jars, drawers, and even the couch cushions. Look closely at every 2005 penny you find. If there's no mint mark, hold on to it. Get it appraised by a trusted coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. You might just be sitting on something extraordinary. And if your coin happens to show a rare error, well, you could be holding your ticket to a six-figure payday. Here's a little secret. Many people watching this video right now will hear these words, nod, and move on. They'll forget about it tomorrow. But a few, just a few, will take action. They'll grab a magnifier, start searching, and maybe, just maybe, discover that their spare change was worth more than their car, their savings, or even their house. Which kind of person are you going to be? Every great story starts with curiosity. The 2005 no-mint mark Lincoln penny might be just another piece of copper-plated zinc to most people. But to those who know its true worth, it represents freedom. The freedom to change your financial future with something as simple as awareness. So before you spend your next penny, take one last look. That tiny coin could be the beginning of your own success story. If you found this story inspiring, don't let it end here. Subscribe and join our community of coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters who are rewriting their financial destinies one coin at a time. Your next discovery could be worth more than you ever imagined, and it might already be sitting in your pocket. Imagine this. You open a dusty old jar of coins sitting in the corner of your kitchen drawer, and among all the ordinary copper pieces, there's one penny. A simple 2006 Lincoln cent. You think nothing of it. But what if I told you that same penny, yes, the one minted in Denver in 2006, could be worth not 1 cent, not $10, not even 1,000, but up to $206,000 today? And that some rare variations of this coin are valued in the millions? Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, that's what makes this story so fascinating. Because hidden in plain sight, in pockets, jars, and forgotten coin rolls across America, lies real fortune disguised as pocket change. Before you toss that penny aside, pause for a moment. This isn't just about metal. It's about opportunity. It's about ordinary people like you uncovering extraordinary wealth that's been sitting right under their noses. Back in 2006, the U.S. Mint in Denver struck over 4 billion Lincoln cents. Most were flawless and common, but a small handful came out with slight imperfections. Minute details invisible to the casual eye, yet powerful enough to change lives. These errors, variations, and die anomalies are the hidden gold of the modern coin world, and the reason a simple penny can fetch hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. Now, let's start with why this particular coin, yes, the 2006 D, is capturing attention in collector markets right now. In recent years, coin enthusiasts have uncovered rare double die errors, mistruck pieces, and off-center impressions that slipped through the mint's quality control. And here's the thing. These mistakes aren't flaws to collectors. They're treasures, because each one represents rarity, and rarity drives value. Think of it this way. Millions of pennies are produced every single day, but only a fraction carry a unique imperfection that makes them one of a kind. When collectors realize there may be only a handful of such coins in existence, they'll pay almost anything to own one. That's exactly what's happening with the 2006 D Lincoln penny. A few years ago, a pristine, error-free specimen with an extraordinary luster sold for over $200,000 at auction, and the demand hasn't slowed down. In fact, experts are now saying that with the right combination of condition, rarity, and collector demand, the next major sale could break the $1 million mark. Let that sink in. A coin you could easily overlook while buying your morning coffee could change your financial future. So what makes these particular pennies so valuable? First, it's all about condition. Coins graded MS67 or higher, meaning mint state, flawless under magnification, are incredibly rare. The higher the grade, the more collectors fight to own it. Then there's the element of error. Some 2006 D pennies display double die reverses, where Lincoln's profile or the inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust appear faintly doubled. Others show die cracks, off-center strikes, or even plating anomalies where the zinc core is partially exposed. Every unique imperfection tells a story, a fingerprint of history that collectors chase like treasure hunters. Because to them, a coin with a perfect mistake isn't just a collectible. It's art born from accident. Now, here's where it gets exciting and a little nerve-wracking. The value of these coins isn't static. It fluctuates with demand, collector trends, and market rarity. What might have been worth a few $100s 5 years ago could now be worth tens of thousands or more. The coin market, especially for Lincoln cents, is heating up like never before. And with social media shining a spotlight on rare finds, even casual collectors are turning their discoveries into life-changing paydays. Still, there's a catch. Most people will never know they're holding something valuable. They'll spend it, drop it, or donate it without ever realizing what slipped through their fingers. Imagine handing over a $200,000 penny to pay for a cup of coffee. Terrifying, isn't it? That's why now, right now, is the time to look closer. Take out your coin jars, your piggy banks, those boxes in the attic. Grab a magnifying glass and inspect every 2060 penny you find. Pay attention to the details. The shine, the strike, the lettering. You never know what secret fortune you might uncover. And here's something most people don't realize. The 2006 D Lincoln penny is a transitional piece in coinage history. It's one of the last few years before the mint introduced the presidential dollar era and before design changes began subtly shifting public attention. So, coins from this time carry a nostalgic and historical appeal that's only growing stronger. Collectors love coins that mark transitions. They represent the end of one story and the beginning of another, and that makes them emotionally powerful investments. But let's address the question everyone's thinking. Is it really possible for an ordinary person to find one of these rare 2006 D pennies? The answer, absolutely. In fact, some of the most valuable coins ever found weren't discovered by professional dealers, but by everyday Americans. People who simply looked closer. A man in Arizona once found a mistruck Lincoln cent in his change that later sold for 6 figures. Another collector bought a roll of uncirculated 2060 pennies on eBay for $20, only to find a near-perfect specimen worth more than a brand-new luxury car. Sounds like luck, but it's not just luck. It's awareness. It's patience. It's the willingness to see potential where others see pennies. Now, let's talk about the emotional side of this. Because money isn't just about wealth, it's about freedom. Imagine paying off your home, helping your children, traveling the world, or finally building that business you've always dreamed of. All because of one small coin. That's the thrill of this pursuit. The idea that financial transformation doesn't always come from Wall Street, it can come from your pocket. And yet, there's urgency here. The longer you wait, the more rare coins slip through circulation and into permanent collections. Once they're gone forever. The window to find a 2006 Lincoln penny of extraordinary value is closing faster every year. Think about that. Right now, someone out there is unknowingly holding a fortune in their change jar. Could it be you? Or will it be someone else who takes the time to look? Now, before we reach the end, here's a tip from professional numismatists. If you think you've found something special, don't clean the coin, ever. Cleaning can destroy its surface and reduce its value instantly. Instead, place it in a protective holder and get it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade can be the difference between a $10 coin and a $200,000 one. And if you're wondering where to start small. Check your pocket change daily. Search coin rolls from the bank. Join online coin forums or collector groups. The more you learn, the sharper your eye becomes. You'll start noticing subtle details, mint marks, and variations others overlook. That's how real coin hunters find their fortune. But here's the twist. Sometimes the story isn't just about finding a valuable coin. It's about rediscovering the excitement of hidden potential. Because when you look at a simple penny and realize it could hold the power to transform your life, you start looking at everything differently. So tonight, when you're home, maybe with a cup of coffee or glass of wine, take out your change jar. Spread the coins across your table and look closely at each one. Because your journey toward wealth might not begin with a business plan, an investment portfolio, or a lottery ticket. It might begin with something as small and overlooked as a 2006 Lincoln penny. And when that moment comes, when you find that one coin that makes your heart skip a beat, you'll remember this story. You'll realize that fortune doesn't always come with noise. Sometimes, it jingles softly in your pocket, waiting for the right person to notice. So what are you waiting for? The next rare penny could be in your hand right now. Don't let it slip away. Check your coins, treasure your discoveries, and who knows, your next penny might just be your first $1 million. And if you want to stay ahead of the curve, learning which rare coins are skyrocketing in value before everyone else does, make sure you subscribe and join this community of everyday treasure hunters. Because wealth doesn't always come from where you expect it. It comes from where you're willing to look. Have you ever held a single penny in your hand and wondered if it could change your life forever? Sounds impossible, right? But what if I told you that one small 2007 mint mark Lincoln penny, something you might have tossed in a jar or used for gum, could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars today, and in some cases even push into the millions? Yes, a coin that costs just 1 cent could be your golden ticket to wealth. Let's be honest. Most of us grew up believing pennies were practically worthless. You find them on the ground, ignore them at the counter, maybe drop them in a tip jar out of habit. But in the world of rare coins, that 1 cent could turn into a life-changing treasure. And today, we're diving deep into the story of the 2007 Lincoln penny, a modern coin hiding a shocking secret, one that's made collectors race to their coin jars and drawers, hoping to strike gold or copper, in this case. Now before you shrug it off, consider this. A rare 2007 Lincoln penny has sold for as much as $207,000 in today's market. Yes, $207,000, for a coin you might have spent on a cup of coffee without thinking twice. What makes it so valuable? Let's peel back the layers. The year 2007 may not sound historic, but in the coin world, subtle details create massive differences in value. This Denver minted penny, stamped with the tiny D under the date, might seem like any other. Yet, a handful were struck with rare minting errors and extraordinary conditions that set them apart from millions of ordinary coins. Some have off-center strikes, double-die obverse, or extraordinary luster preserved since the day they left the mint. Others possess unique planchet flaws, microscopic differences invisible to the untrained eye but worth fortunes to collectors. Imagine this. You're at home sorting through a box of old change from the early 2000s. You pull out a 2007 penny that looks slightly shinier. Maybe the Liberty lettering seems off, or Lincoln's face appears doubled. Most people would overlook it, but in the right condition, that exact coin could be worth enough to buy a luxury car, pay off your mortgage, or even retire early. The question is, why are collectors paying so much for it? The answer lies in scarcity and perfection. In the coin world, perfection means everything. Professional graders assign coins a numerical grade from 1 to 70. A flawless 2007 Lincoln penny graded at MS 70 red is beyond rare. It's like finding a diamond hidden in a pile of gravel. Only a few of these perfect specimens exist, and when they hit the auction block, bidding wars erupt. Wealthy collectors and investors see them not as pennies, but as historical assets, symbols of precision, rarity, and American heritage. Here's where it gets interesting. Most people have no idea that their spare change could contain such hidden gems. Every year, thousands of valuable coins are unknowingly spent, dropped, or lost. Think about that for a second. Someone might have used a $200,000 penny to pay for parking last week. Crazy, right? But that's the thrilling and terrifying part. The treasure might already be in your hands, but if you don't know what to look for, you'll never realize it. Now, let's talk about the why now. The coin market is experiencing a renaissance. Collectors, investors, and even tech entrepreneurs are entering the numismatic scene, buying up rare pennies as tangible assets in a digital world. It's not just nostalgia, it's smart wealth building. As inflation rises, physical collectibles like rare coins become a hedge against uncertainty. They're small, portable, and historically, their value only goes up over time. And right now, the 2007 Lincoln penny is quietly emerging as a modern icon. But before you go racing to cash in your collection, take this warning seriously. Not every 2007 penny is worth a fortune. In fact, most are only worth face value. The key is condition and rarity. Coins that have never circulated, those kept pristine in rolls or proof sets, hold the most promise. If your penny still has its original reddish copper glow, sharp details, and no signs of wear, it could already be worth hundreds. Get it professionally graded, and you might uncover a small fortune sitting in your drawer. Let's put that into perspective. A single coin, the size of your thumbnail, selling for $207,000. Imagine what that could do for your life. Pay off debt, travel the world, invest in real estate, or even start a business. But more than the money, it's the thrill of discovery, the story you'll tell. You'll forever be the person who found a six-figure fortune in loose change. Not bad for a penny that once jingled in your pocket, right? And if you think that's the limit, think again. Certain rare varieties of Lincoln pennies have reached values over $1 million at auction. The trend is rising as collectors chase elusive coins from the modern minting era. The 2007 penny, with its unique combination of scarcity and condition-dependent value, stands right in that lane. It's the underdog turning into a legend before our eyes. Now, let's talk about fear for a moment. The fear of missing out. Every day, coins disappear from circulation, sold quietly to private collectors or auctioned to high bidders. The market is moving fast. The more people learn about these hidden treasures, the scarcer they become. Imagine finding out years later that the coin you gave away for a dollar bill was worth a small fortune. That's not just loss, that's heartbreak. But there's good news. You can still find these coins. Many are hiding in old jars, forgotten wallets, inherited boxes, or even bank rolls that haven't been touched in years. And here's the kicker. Unlike hunting for gold or crypto investing, checking your pennies costs nothing. All it takes is attention, curiosity, and the willingness to look closer. If you want to know where to start, grab a magnifying glass, a bright light, and your loose change. Focus on details. Sharp edges, bold letters, smooth surfaces, and mint luster. Look for doubling in Lincoln's eye, lips, or lettering. tiny clues that might reveal an error strike. Those small imperfections are often worth a fortune because they prove the coin's rarity. And remember, even if you don't find a six-figure coin today, every search increases your knowledge and chances. The more you learn, the more valuable your eyes become. Before long, you'll recognize treasures others overlook. That's how ordinary people build extraordinary wealth, by seeing value where others see nothing. Think of this as a game of patience and persistence. Every coin you examine is a potential jackpot. Every time you check your change, you're one step closer to a life-changing discovery. The thrill of possibility keeps collectors going. And once you find your first rare coin, there's no turning back. So, what are you waiting for? Right now, the world of coin collecting is expanding faster than ever. Prices are rising, interest is booming, and opportunities are everywhere for those who pay attention. The 2007 Lincoln penny is just one example of how modern coins are redefining wealth in unexpected ways. At the end of the day, it's not just about finding a rare coin. It's about the mindset it creates. When you start seeing potential in small things, opportunities multiply everywhere. A penny today could be the key to a wealthy tomorrow. If you know where to look and when to act, go ahead. Check your pockets, your old coffee cans, your junk drawers. That forgotten penny sitting at the bottom might be your next big break. Because fortune doesn't always arrive with a bang. Sometimes, it's quietly waiting in copper and steel, daring you to notice. And if you want to keep learning how to spot these valuable treasures, make sure you subscribe and join our community of everyday collectors turning spare change into real wealth. Your journey to financial freedom might just begin with a single penny. Imagine walking past a coin jar on your kitchen counter. Just a handful of ordinary pennies, right? But what if I told you that one of those dull, copper-colored cents could be worth over $200,000? And that a few select 2014 no-mint Mark Lincoln pennies have even been valued in the millions? Sounds unreal, doesn't it? Yet it's absolutely true. Somewhere in America, tucked away in drawers, jars, and pockets, lies a coin that could change someone's life forever. Maybe even yours. Let's face it, most of us overlook pennies. We toss them into our cars, leave them on countertops, or even refuse them at the store. But that tiny piece of metal might be the most undervalued piece of currency in your possession. The 2014 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is one of those coins quietly rewriting the rules of modern collecting. It looks just like the one you might have received in change from a grocery store run, but a few unique varieties and errors have made them worth as much as $214,000 in today's market, and in some extremely rare cases, valued into the millions. So how did something so common become so incredibly valuable? To understand that, we need to dig into the story of this unassuming coin, a story that blends history, craftsmanship, and sheer luck. The 2014 Lincoln penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which, as tradition goes, doesn't use a mint mark. Over 8 billion of these coins were produced, flooding circulation across the nation. On paper, that sounds like the opposite of rare. But as every serious collector knows, value isn't born from quantity. It's born from flaw, uniqueness, and condition. During 2014's production run, a few batches of pennies left the mint with striking errors so subtle, even trained eyes missed them at first. Misaligned dies, double die obverse, and weak strikes created a perfect storm for rarity. Imagine two coin dies slightly out of sync, Abraham Lincoln's profile slightly doubled, the letters showing a shadow-like echo, or the date, 2014, slightly distorted. For a collector, that's not a defect, it's a discovery. Now, here's where the story gets truly remarkable. One 2014 no-mint Mark penny, found in a coin roll by an everyday collector, was later certified at nearly flawless condition, graded MS-69 by a top grading authority. It sold for an astonishing $214,000. Why? Because in numismatics, condition is king. A perfectly preserved coin is like a diamond without a single inclusion, utterly priceless. Think about that for a second. Someone, somewhere, likely pulled that coin from circulation, looked at it, and thought, just another penny. And yet, that tiny coin became worth more than most cars, more than a house down payment, more than some people's life savings. The line between ordinary and extraordinary has never been thinner. It makes you wonder, How many of us are sitting on treasure without realizing it? How many of those forgotten jars of change are quietly holding a fortune? Here's where it gets even more exciting. Many of these 2014 pennies are still out there, undiscovered. The rarity isn't in their existence. It's in their perfection, in the precise combination of mint error and preservation. If you've ever felt like you missed your shot at wealth, this is your moment to reconsider. Because the truth is, opportunity doesn't always wear a suit or come with a business plan. Sometimes it jingles in your pocket. Now, let's talk specifics. When examining a 2014 penny, look closely at the details. Under a magnifying glass or even a smartphone zoom, check the word. Do the letters appear slightly doubled or blurry? Examine Lincoln's eye and the date. Doubling there could signal a valuable double die error. Inspect the edges for clean strikes. Any irregularity could mean you found a unique minting issue. And if your coin still has that bright, lustrous finish untouched by circulation, you could be holding a gem-grade piece. Collectors also value what's called a proof-like strike. Coins that weren't meant for circulation but accidentally slipped out of the mint. These shine with mirror-like surfaces and razor-sharp details. If you find one of these, it's like catching lightning in a bottle. But here's where the fear sets in. Millions of these coins have already been spent, exchanged, and worn down to mere face value. Every day, someone unknowingly hands over a potential gold mine at a gas station or laundromat. The clock is ticking, and with each passing year, fewer pristine examples remain. The window to discover a top-condition 2014 no-mint mark penny is closing fast. Let me share a story that still circulates in collector circles. A man from Ohio decided to check his old coin jars one evening after watching a documentary about rare pennies. He stumbled upon a 2014 penny that looked unusually crisp. He sent it for grading, expecting maybe a modest profit. Months later, he received a letter confirming his coin's near-perfect grade and a private auction offer that changed his life. 6 figures for a single cent. When asked later what he planned to do with the money, he laughed and said, "All I did was empty a jar." Stories like this aren't fairy tales. They're reminders that wealth sometimes hides in plain sight, and they fuel a growing community of everyday people turning simple curiosity into financial discovery. But before you rush to cash in, understand this: collectors and buyers look for authenticity. A coin's value depends not only on its rarity but also its certification. If you believe you've found a special 2014 penny, get it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade transforms your coin from interesting to investment grade. It's your key to commanding serious offers in the collector's market. Now let's talk strategy. The modern coin market is hotter than ever, driven by nostalgia, scarcity, and rising investor interest. Coins once deemed too new for serious value are breaking records at auctions. Smart collectors know this is the time to act, because as awareness grows, availability shrinks. The 2014 penny may be today's treasure, but tomorrow it might be locked in private collections forever. So, check your pockets, your drawers, your jars. Every coin matters. Who knows? That coin you almost gave to a vending machine could be the beginning of a new chapter in your financial story. And if you're thinking, well, I've never been lucky, here's the truth. Luck favors the curious. The ones who take a second glance, who ask questions, who don't dismiss the small things. After all, every fortune starts with someone daring to look twice. So before you go about your day, grab those pennies, grab that magnifier, and start searching. Because the next 2014 no-mint mark penny worth $214,000, or even $1 million, might just be sitting in your palm right now. Imagine the feeling of holding what everyone else overlooked. Imagine finding your piece of the American dream in something as simple as a cent. It's not just about the money. It's about the reminder that value often hides where no one's looking. Don't let this moment pass you by. Start today. And if you want to learn more about the rarest coins still in circulation, the ones turning ordinary people into unexpected millionaires, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. Because the next story I share could be about the coin sitting in your pocket right now. Imagine holding a 2015 Lincoln penny in your hand. Ordinary, dull, barely worth a cent. But what if I told you that this exact coin, without a mint mark, could be worth up to $215,000 today. That's right, 1 cent turning into a small fortune. And yet, thousands of people have spent these pennies without realizing the goldmine hiding in their pockets. Now, before you rush to dig through your change jar, let's dive into what makes the 2015 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny one of the most surprising modern treasures of American coinage. You're about to discover why a coin minted just a decade ago is shocking collectors, breaking records, and creating instant wealth for those who pay attention. The story begins quietly, in the heart of the U.S. Mint's production line in Philadelphia. Billions of these 2015 pennies were struck, each bearing Abraham Lincoln's iconic profile on the obverse and the Union shield on the reverse. Nothing unusual at first glance, right? No silver shine, no visible error, just a sea of copper-plated zinc coins meant for everyday transactions. But within that ocean of ordinary, a few extraordinary pieces slipped through the cracks, pennies with microscopic differences, minting errors, and unique die features that collectors now call once-in-a-generation finds. Some of these coins showed what experts describe as a die clash, where images from the coin dies transfer faintly onto each other. Others reveal doubling on the date, the word liberty, or even Lincoln's face. Tiny imperfections invisible to the casual eye, but like fireworks in the numismatic world. The right combination of rarity, condition, and timing sent the value of these coins skyrocketing. One lucky collector discovered a 2015 no-mint Mark penny with a full doubled die obverse, graded in pristine MS-69 condition, nearly flawless. The hammer dropped at auction for a staggering $215,000. Imagine that, one penny, the kind you might sweep off a gas station counter, sold for more than a luxury sports car. It's the kind of story that sends shockwaves through the coin community and stirs a quiet question in the back of every mind. Could I have one of those too? The real magic lies in the details most people overlook. The absence of a mint mark, for example, means the coin was struck in Philadelphia. But not all Philadelphia pennies are created equal. Some feature subtle shifts in the die alignment, misstrikes, or planchet errors that create varieties more valuable than most collectors ever dream of owning. Even small details like luster, strike quality, and toning can multiply the price exponentially. Think about this. The average 2015 penny might be worth 1 cent, but 1 in a million could transform into 6 figures. And yet, every day, those potential treasures slip unnoticed through vending machines, bank rolls, and grocery store counters. The thought alone is enough to keep even the most skeptical person awake at night, wondering, what if I spent mine already? Here's the truth. These modern rarities aren't about luck alone. They're about knowledge, patience, and precision. The people who spot these coins aren't just lucky. They're prepared. They know what to look for. Doubling around Lincoln's eye, a weakly struck shield, a die crack across the lettering, or even unusual coloration. These tiny signs separate the million-dollar penny from the meaningless one. It's easy to dismiss pennies as pocket change. But the wealthiest coin collectors in the world didn't start with gold. They started with copper. They built fortunes on curiosity, turning small discoveries into massive paydays. And in today's market, where collectors compete fiercely for unique pieces, the demand for high-grade 2015 no-mint Mark pennies has never been stronger. At major auctions, bidding wars break out over coins with perfect or near-perfect grades. The record-breaking $215,000 sale wasn't just a fluke. It was a signal that modern coins, even those minted within your lifetime, hold incredible potential if preserved and properly identified. Some experts predict that as these rare varieties get harder to find, prices will only climb higher. Imagine 5 years from now, when that same penny could cross the million-dollar mark. Would you still walk past a penny on the ground? There's a powerful lesson here, one that extends beyond coin collecting. It's about seeing value where others see none. Every rare coin began as something ordinary until someone looked closer. The same principle applies to wealth itself. Financial opportunity doesn't always announce itself. It hides quietly, waiting for the right eyes to notice. So, what should you do next? Start by examining your 2015 pennies. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look carefully at the date, the lettering, and Lincoln's profile. Check for doubling, cracks, or signs of misalignment. If you find something unusual, don't clean it. Just handle it gently and consider having it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. A simple certification could turn your spare change into a life-changing asset. And here's the exciting part. This isn't limited to the 2015 penny. Similar modern coins are rising in value as collectors realize the scarcity of pristine, high-grade examples. The shift in the market is real, and those who act early often benefit the most. Waiting could mean watching others cash in on the same opportunities you let slip by. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could something so small and common be worth so much? Well, isn't that what makes the story even better? It's poetic in a way. The humble penny, often ignored and undervalued, becomes the key to someone's financial breakthrough. It's the perfect symbol of how wealth can hide in plain sight. But here's the twist. Most people watching this video right now will forget what they've heard. They'll think, cool story, and move on. A few will take action, search their coins, and maybe even discover something extraordinary. Which one will you be? The person who watches opportunity pass by, or the one who turns it into prosperity? Because let's face it, success favors the curious. And in a world where a penny can be worth $215,000, curiosity might just be the most profitable habit you ever developed. So, the next time you see a 2015 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, don't dismiss it. Hold it up to the light. Study it. Think about what could be hiding beneath that simple copper shine. You might be holding a small piece of history or the start of your own financial story. And if you want to keep uncovering hidden treasures like this, subscribe now. Join a community of people turning pocket change into profit and learning the secrets of coins worth millions. Because every rare find begins the same way, with one person who decides to look closer. Your journey to wealth could start with a single penny. The question is, will you take that chance, or let someone else find it first?